much more newer. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone 17 has that Apple A19 chipset inside with 8 GB of RAM, where the iPhone 13 has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 GB of RAM. So let's go and see which one's the faster phone between both. So there we go. All the applications are cleared out in the background, so let us get into it. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. And if I just kind of start opening up all these applications, you're going to be able to see immediately that the iPhone 13 is probably not going to be as fast, but you can see that there's also some glitches kind of going on with the 13. The 17 feels like a much more smoother phone when you're kind of scrolling through, so that is going to be one of those things to kind of keep in mind there. Scrolling in and out of applications as well, that's also going to be another thing, because I'm seeing, I don't know if you're able to tell over the camera, but definitely as you're kind of going through and kind of looking at these particular application opening, I'm definitely seeing a far better, smoother experience inside of something like an iPhone 17 rather than something like an iPhone 13, which again is expected. That's totally okay. But for there to be like 4 years of difference between these two, it doesn't really seem like that big of a difference. But you can see right there for that application, that was fairly glitchy on something like an iPhone 13. But I guess once the application's loaded, it's not too bad. You can kind of see here as well, like random types of glitches. That has nothing to do with the iPhone's performance. That one was actually pretty fast on the iPhone 13. For this type of application, there's ever so like slight differences, but it's nothing crazy. But as you're going through and using these phones, that's when you're going to start seeing kind of the slow, kind of the glitches here and there, the small little things. But those small things can definitely add up depending on who you are. So again, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but as you're using these types of phones, that's when you're going to notice those types of small glitches, and maybe that'll end up being a little annoying. Now I accidentally opened up that one on here, so we'll just kind of close out of that one. We'll go and get into apps like Netflix, and again, we'll kind of see what ends up happening here. But from kind of what I'm seeing, the iPhone 13 is definitely a little slower, but it's not really that bad. Like it still feels like a fast phone. It seems like it's stuttering a lot though. Like when I'm going through and loading up an app, it feels to me that it is stuttering a little bit, which is a little unfortunate. Again, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but from what I'm seeing, it does look like something like the iPhone 13 is glitching a little bit as you're opening up the application, as you're kind of getting into it. But the speed of the iPhone 13 still feels like a very fast phone. So I don't want to give the impression that the 17 is like 30 times faster than something like the iPhone 13. It's faster for sure, and it's smoother with the promotion display. But once you kind of load into the apps, it's really not too bad. Like you're still getting like a pretty good type of experience between both. But the 13 definitely feels like it's glitching up a lot more on iOS 26, more so than something like the iPhone 13, more so than something like the iPhone 17. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. Now, on top of that, when it comes down to their cameras, this is another important thing. They both have their different types of camera setups inside.